Hello and welcome to Neverwinter Nights, a game I had done some videos of, and it fizzled on me. And the main reason it fizzled on me was the fact that, because of course it is a role-playing game and quite dialogue and story heavy, and I'm not keen on trying to do voice acting in any way, shape or form. It was just too much dialogue to go through, and I felt my videos were being very, very slow. Add to that, of course, the fact that there are other content creators who have been doing this video or this game, and some of them are very accomplished voice actors and doing a much better job than I could even hope to do. But because it is a game appreciation channel, and because this is one of my all-time favorite computer Dungeons and Dragons games, I still want to cover it. But the way I was thinking about doing it was to do a so-called synopsis run. Basically even go through the story, but relatively quickly, not in a speedrun sense, not completely skip through all dialogue and blah blah, whatever, but speed it up significantly by going through the dialogue relatively quickly. Unless it's critical dialogue, I will happily leave that in. And then give a synopsis of what's going on, so any of you can follow the story. Hoping that it will speed up the video series somewhat without detracting too much of the story. Any in-game cinematics will be added to the videos. I am recording the base game with Shadowplay, and Shadowplay will pick up the audio of the in-game movies but not the video, so I will have to record them by other means and edit them into the videos, but it's a non-issue. The thing is, though, I had already started recording because I didn't want to be in the same position, or in a similar position to last time, where I just let the series fizzle after about, I think it was 7, 8 episodes, whatever. So I want to make sure to have some sort of backlog of videos. So I was playing happily away and all that stuff, and then I took a break and came back and recorded some more. Played for about 2 hours and realized I had not recorded a single frame. Of course, I could have just told any viewer that my bad, mistake, this is what happened, blah blah, whatever. But I felt it was very, very jarring because it was quite a huge step in the story that had been skipped. So, how could I salvage the situation without losing too much and without breaking anything? What I decided to do was take the character from my last save game, remove all equipment, drop all gold except for the 150 gold the character would have from the start, and export the character, starting the game from the prelude, which I intended to do, exporting that character or importing that character. Now, before you start crying, it is a level 5 character, and starting the game with a level 5 character may seem somewhat broken. But first and foremost, by the end of the prelude, you will be level 3 automatically. You will be given experience to reach level 3, so it's going to be a 2-level difference. Secondly, I did a test to make sure that the imported character did not draw that benefit, and it doesn't. You are not given any quest experience in that regard at all. And of course, the fact that 5 levels are 2 levels more than you will end up with at the end of the prelude, but it's not going to make a dramatic difference. If it bugs people, I could go back and restart the game completely with a fresh character. But I think this should be perfectly acceptable. You have gained 1 extra feat, 1 stat point, and of course level up to hit bonuses and that kind of stuff, but it's quite minimal. So hopefully it will be tolerated by any viewers. Now, to compensate for the fact that I'm starting at a slightly high level, I have changed some game options, or one game option specifically. The game defaults to normal, and there is a notification from the developers that the game has been balanced for normal. The opposition you face, which you face quite a bit of, is tuned for you playing on normal difficulty level. The main difference between normal and hardcore rules is no critical hits on player character. You cannot be critically hit. And of course, no attacks of opportunity of players using ranged weapons, no attacks of opportunity of players using potions. But the hardcore rules, critical hits on player characters, attacks of opportunity on players using ranged weapons and potions. So basically, if you use a potion or ranged attack melee, you provoke an attack of opportunity. And of course, the player character can get critically hit. Ultimately, it's going to be a wonky thing to set at best, because the only thing that's going to happen is potentially I will end up reloading more. Because if you die in this game, you can revive, and if memory serves me, it costs half of your gold to revive. Or you can just reload the game. Because of course, if the main character dies, it's game over, so yeah, you're not progressing without doing something about it. And reloading is cheaper, and if my character gets critically hit and dies more often, I'll just reload more often, so that's the main thing. Of course, the fact that you have to be careful about not using potions in melee, but yeah. It is a sacrifice I'm prepared to make in order to compensate for the fact that I start with a slightly higher level character. I will happily take any feedback concerning that. If people think it's broken, busted, whatever, I can restart the series completely. But I'm just trying to salvage some of the work I did. So, let us create a new game. Neverwinter Nights campaign Prelude. And of course, because of the exported character, select a pre-made. When you start a new game, any character you made will be saved. And this is the monk I created. Strength 14, Dexterity 14, 12 Constitution, 10 Intellect, 16 Wisdom even, and 10 Charisma. I sacrificed a bit of Constitution for Wisdom. I know that technically Wisdom is not considered to be the strongest stat for monks, but I've played several different types of monk, and I have actually found that Wisdom is surprisingly strong later down the line. Normally the argument would be for Strength or Dexterity based monk, but I've chosen Wisdom. Skills, I have chosen skills which are game relevant, more so than anything. Discipline gives a chance to resist a combat feat. Disarm we don't care about because we are fighting unarmed, but something like knockdown, you don't want to be knocked down in front of an enemy wielding a two-handed axe. No. Heal, to save money, basically. Healing kits are cheaper than potions. Lore, to save money. Having a chance to identify items in the field without having to pay 100 gold at the local shop. It may not make much of a difference, but it's nice to have. And of course, persuasion, where is that? Here. Certain information will only be revealed by persuading NPCs to actually tell you about certain stuff. And while you can retry most persuasion checks infinitely, it's nice to have a few ranks in it. Because of the changes to at least this version of Dungeons & Dragons, a natural 20 doesn't mean that you automatically succeed. If the skill requirement is 22 and you can only roll 20, then you will never get that information out of the NPC. And as far as I remember, there's a small handful of persuasion checks which are one-offs, and if you fail those, you will have to reload. Not having any ranks will mean that you will never ever be able to persuade any NPC that requires a difficulty check more than a 20 unless you have high charisma to modify persuade skill. Finally, tumble. When you move around in combat, if you turn your back to an enemy and start moving away from that enemy, you provoke an attack of opportunity, which, fair enough. Tumble gives you an armor class bonus against those attacks. Nothing else but just those attacks. But more importantly, for every 5 ranks you have in the skill without dexterity modifier, you gain 1 to armor class. For monks fighting without any armor class bonus is a huge benefit. Feats, dodge. It is required for mobility and spring attack. Specific, this character gains +1 dodge bonus to armor class against attacks from his current target or last attacker. Most bonuses do not stack. If you have +5 to something and +4, you are not getting +9, you're getting +5. But dodge armor class bonuses stack. There's an upper cap, but they do stack in general. So basically, having 10 different sources of dodge armor class will still benefit you, whereas most other bonuses, the highest will apply. Again, being a class that doesn't wear armor, any armor class bonus is a good thing. Playing human, you get a bonus feat at level 1, and I used that bonus feat on, where is it? Here we are, Log of Heroes. Can only take this feat at first level. Character gets +1 bonus to all saving throws. It's not going to define the character, but once you start failing saving throws by 1, you would wish you would have this one to compensate for it. That regard, when it comes to skill checks, that's something that's always annoyed me, is that you can have a 200 level character, and if they roll 1, they will fail. When it comes to saving throws, and in other versions it was modified in such a way that you could actually get feats that set the minimum you could be considered rolling to be 5, so you would never roll a natural 1. Even if you rolled a natural 1, it will set it to 5. I know we're talking in theoretical chances, but when it comes to saving throws, you have 5% chance to roll 1. It's still a 5% chance, and you can argue that no one should ever, and so on. But when you're leveling up and you're increasing your saving throws, you want to get the benefit of it, and having a saving throw where you need to roll 10 or higher, you have +15 to that saving throw, and you roll 1 and fail, is so crushingly destroying. It's not very fun and not very enjoyable, but anyway, it's nice to have. The exported version, I use my statistical upgrade for wisdom. I intend to stack wisdom. Skills has been ranked up according to the skills I chose, and feats. The extra feat I took was a weapon focus on armed strike. It gives you a +1 to attack with whatever weapon you choose to focus on, and of course, being a monk, you use our fists and feet. So unarmed strike is a very good feat to get. With that out of the way, let's get into the game itself. There will be an in-game video which I will need to edit in, and then we will start the prelude.
Frozen North, the name given to the stark and unforgiving frontier that lies beyond the high moor of Faerun. A bleak wilderness where barbarian clans and tribes of giants roam the land, and fierce dragons rule the skies. But amidst the frozen savagery stands a bastion of civilization, the city of Neverwinter, Jewel of the North. Behind the city's high walls, those both hardy and brave carve out an existence from this bleak land under the guidance and protection of the legendary hero, Lord Nasher Alagonda. Yet there are some things that all the courage in the world cannot stand against. A virulent plague swept the city, a terrible affliction that began in the beggar's nest, Soon, all of Neverwinter would feel the touch of the Wailing Death. The disease could not be cured. Panic ensued. The streets erupted into violence. The jewel of the North was brought to its knees. To save Neverwinter, Lady Aribeth de Tilmarand, Paladin of Tyr, and Lord Nash's right hand, put forth the call for a champion. A rush of would-be heroes answered her call, some drawn by promises of grandeur and glory, others by the lure of gold. Those with the greatest potential were initiated into the academy to train and study under the greatest minds of Neverwinter, all in the hopes a champion might emerge to save the city from the Wailing Death, and whatever sinister force might be behind it.
So, here we are. Academy training. It's our first quest. For some bizarre reason, when you reload a game, it forgets how you have set up your interface, which is rather annoying. But I like having the minimap showing, and I like increasing the text box slightly. So, here we have our character in all his glorified pixelated nakedness. Well, he's not entirely naked, he's still got a underwear equivalent. But I like the whip. I wish the whip was longer, but whatever. Anyway. A club. Hooray! This is Tutorial City, by the way. Let's just speak to Pavel first.
Finally, you're up.
Yeah, I know. I'm awake. Hooray. I'm awake. I'm awake. It is an honor and privilege for me to serve as Neverwinter. Hooray. I don't know much about the plague. Shouldn't someone be looking for a cure? Is there anything else you can tell me? Bye-bye. So, the outset plot thing of this game, in case you're not aware, is that Neverwinter has been affected by a plague. Not a physical plague, but more of a soul-destroying plague, and they are trying desperately to find a cure, and ultimately that is what's going to be the beef of this game, so to speak. For all intents and purposes, we are just trainees at the academy, and the components needed for the cure are already secured.
Hey there.
So,
I want to talk to you.
for all we know, we are just new trainees, nothing else at this time. Need to speak to Bim,
I saw you
the brother
talking
of
to my
Pavel.
brother Pavel. My name is
I don't
Bim.
really care about an adventuring tutorial, so move on. By the way, if you hold down tab, it will highlight objects that you can interact with, exits, characters, items, things like that. Nice little touch. And here we got Olgert, whatever he's called, and he's the inventory map, inventory store tutorial guy. But I already know how to work it. I should at this rate. I don't need a tutorial on stores, but we can still see what he's got. Appraisal skill. That is a check that's done for every store you interact with, and it is not a natural part of Neverwinter. It was added with Hordes of the Underdark. I'm sure it was. It could have been Shadows of Untitled, but anyway, the skill appraise was added where you can increase your favorable outcome with a store person. Basically, if it's neutral, you get even prices. If it's favorable, you get a discount on buying and extra money from selling. And if it's unfavorable, you are being ripped off and you don't get much for what you're trying to sell. But we were given a robe, which increases our armor class by 1. For those who are familiar with older versions of Dungeons & Dragons, where lower armor class numbers were better, In 3rd edition, they decided, you know what, it doesn't make any sense. A higher armor class is a good armor class. The higher, the better. You can sell the club for 1 gold piece, and of course, summon creature via another caster, so let's just get a bit of money. We will need money. There's one specific item which is available much later in the game that I want, and I want to make absolutely sure I got enough money to actually buy it when I get to it.
Hey there.
It's a map tutorial person. I'm not interested, I'm sorry. Goodbye. Bookcases usually contain volumes of different stories, but they can also contain spells, and while we are not a spellcaster, we can still sell said spells. If you are a lore-interested person, there's quite a bit of text to read in this game. Probably far too much for certain people, but anyway, let's move on. And to get our combat tutorial,
It's about time you showed
this
up,
guy is
recruit.
definitely a dual sergeant. I already know everything I need to know about combat, and I'm sorry, I'm not interested. He doesn't like me not being interested, but you know what? I should know how to complete combat. We still need to complete the training though. I'm ready for the melee combat training, so we need to either hit him in parry mode or to destroy the combat dummy, but I'm a nice person, so I don't want to hit my instructors, so let's attack the dummy using our Flurry of Blows, which is a monk specific ability where you get an extra attack, but all attacks will have -2 to hit. It is usually worth using even at lower levels in order to get the extra attack. If you can hit. I'm not going to claim that the game is rigged in any way, shape or form, but you tend to see quite a few low rolls for your characters and quite a few high rolls for the enemies. It's just, you know, a happy coincidence.
Go and talk to Hewitt to continue your test.
Okie dokie, we've done the melee, we are skilled, hooray, good. Now we need to go and do the ranged, even though we are monk and don't really care about ranged attacks, but we still need to complete the training.
So Harbin sent you over for
So,
your
ranged and missile weapons, we can choose any type of missile ranged weapon that we can use. We cannot use bows, so we can use the crossbow or the sling. Let's get the crossbow and some bolts, and then equip a set of bolts and equip a set of crossbow. You have a slot for arrows, bolts, and bullets. Come on. We just need to hit the target once, and he will tell us how good we are.
I need
Hey,
to talk to you again.
I'll equip that. Don't know whether that's worth any money, possibly.
I guess congratulations are
I'm great. Lady Albert, the one that gives us our mission. That's it, my twins over. Okay, goodbye. But Mr. Drill Sergeant Bob, he's not as bad as he may initially appear. He's just a concerned citizen, what can I say?
Back again, recruit.
I completed my training, what now, sir? We got some boots, because he likes us for some reason, despite the fact that we were being overly rude towards him. Boots of reflexes. Saving throw reflex +1. We'll take it. Anything given is a nice thing. So, there's a menagerie we could look at if we want to over here, which basically, where is it? Well, Ferdinand.
only. Hello there.
He's a zookeeper of some sort. He's
Nobody walks.
carrying.
Shall never triumph.
Well, he's not carrying them. He's got some creatures on display that we can have a look at. Dire Spider, naughty naughty. Umber Hulk, naughty naughty. Ettercap, who cares? And Stag Beetle. Well, quite hard to hit and quite powerful jaws, but well, we've seen what we need to see here. We can just head out down the passage that we, if I can actually navigate the map. Come on, come on, come on.
Only one way out.
Not for you! Evil shall never triumph!
We have Arcane Mage Training Instructor. But basically, if you're an Arcane caster, you can go and get some training on how to use your skills and all that. But there, of course, will be loot to be had. Oh, magic missile and mouse assets. Oh, nice to know. They can be sold. We like selling stuff. Remember, this is a role-playing game, and even though we're lawful good, anything that's not nailed to the floor will be picked up. I will not steal. Anything that's considered to be stealing, I will not do, even though technically everything is considered to be stealing, but you know how it is. It's role-playing games. It's just the way they function. Come on, get out, please. We don't need that door just yet. Here we got rogue skill training. We can't get anything of use from in there, but what about here? It's divine magic, clerics, paladins, and the like. And we are not a divine caster. We are not a caster of any kind, even though technically we are using magic. Anything of use in here? No, no. For shame. We can go over and punch that skeleton, but it's not going to do anything. So let's just head the right way. Speak to this guy, and he will tell us how good we are.
Now that you've finished your training, you can...
And we need to go and speak to Lady Arabeth. You can speak to the random NPCs here, but there's no point to it, so...
Congratulations! Your training here at the Academy is now complete. May the blessing of Tyr be upon you. I have been looking forward to meeting you. The instructors here at the Academy speak very highly of your skills. I am Lady Arabeth de Tilmarand. Perhaps after the graduation ceremonies, we can speak in private. Neverwinter can use someone like you. We should arrange to... Wait, what was that? Did you feel it? Brace yourself, we are under attack.
What a surprise. Things turn south.
I must speak with you. Listen to me. There is not much time. I fear this is no random attack we have suffered. As you may already know, a number of creatures were brought from Waterdeep here to the Academy. It was believed the reagents for a spell to create a cure could be extracted from them. We tried to keep this information secret, but this attack reveals our secret is well known, even to our enemies.
Enemies? What are those? Who are these enemies you speak of? I will keep some story elements in the video.
Neverwinter has many enemies. Some declare themselves openly, such as the city of Luskan. Others keep their identities hidden from us, striking from the shadows. I do not know who is behind this attack, but it is obvious they are here to destroy our hope of ending the Wailing Death. You must protect the Waterdavian creatures. They must not be allowed to fall into the enemy's hands.
Where can I
would
find
take
these
to the
creatures?
myself if I could, but I fear my presence would make protecting the creatures more difficult, if not impossible. Our attackers appeared here in this room. It is likely their arrival was magically centered on me. They must have assumed I would be with the Waterdavian creatures. Even now, our enemy may be watching me through magical means, hoping I will lead them right to where the creatures are kept. I cannot take that risk. You must do this alone. Go back through the hallway leading to this room, and take the corridor to the east. It leads to the chambers where the Waterdavian beasts are being kept.
I will do as you command.
Take this key. It will open the locked east door back in the hallway leading to this room. I will stay here. Hopefully my presence will draw the enemy away from the creatures they seek. Hurry! Make your way into the hall, and then to the chambers down the east corridor. That is where the Waterdavian beasts are kept. The fate of Neverwinter depends on you. This key will open the door. May Tyr be with you.
quick save. I will probably be doing that a lot, but onwards we go.
What's this? I was expecting Arabic, not some wet behind the ears. Well, let's see.
You can't kill him. He will teleport away. But you can get to fight his lackeys, some weak goblins. They have to despawn in order to respawn, so you can get the loot from them. Let's just flatten the ones around here. It gets a bit old having to re-enable Flurry of Blows constantly, but that's just the way it works, unfortunately. Oh, I forgot about that desk. 5 gold pieces. Normally, when playing a level 1 character, I would actually ignore most of these enemies because you are given enough experience to level up. But we don't have that benefit anymore, so a little bit of experience we get from these guys can still be beneficial. So let's go around and kill them, shall we?
That's it for you. Take that.
That is the pick lock test for rogues. You can't bash the chest. There's nothing in it. It's a token that you need to pick up to showcase that you are able to pick locks. So it's not super important. Normally you can bash chests, but they have damage reduction based on the quality of the chest, and this one's, I think it's got something like 20 points of damage reduction, so it's not worth funneling with anyway, so. Also good live wounds. Nothing. Some of the NPCs are interactable. Some of their corpses, I should say. Splat. You hit me, how dare you? Arrows we don't care about. Come on. You would think opening up for that menagerie would have been rather bad, but of course they didn't unlock them. Now you can technically fight them if you want to. I would not recommend it. What we got here? Oh, hook horror. No. The dire spider will rip you to shreds. Umber Hulk will do the same. The hook horror will definitely do it. Ettercap you may have a chance against, and yeah, just ignore them. So we'll probably just move on. There's not much purpose in hanging around here. You know, let's just move on. And then when we get to the next bit, we'll call it the first part of the video, because of course I still have some editing stuff to put into it. here we are. And in the next part, we will complete this bit and get into starting the main story. So, hope you found this somewhat enjoyable. Thanks for watching. Take care. See you next time. Bye bye for now.